Hi. Um, Today I want to talk a bit about taste. So I call the taste the Christian knock knock taste. And it goes as follows. Knock knock. Who's there? Jesus. Jesus who? Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And the question then becomes, what now? Now, anybody that have been reading the Bible or grew up in church, I'm assuming most people, they would know what Jesus said, where he basically said, I knock on every heart, and those that hear and open up, I will come in and have communion with them and they with me. So that is really the topic that I would like to talk about right now. So, first off, let's take it bit by bit. So, what do? Jesus knock on your door. Do you hear him? Don't you hear him? Where exactly are you sitting? Are you in the middle of a fence? Are you opening a door up? What does it mean when he knocks on your door? What's the implication for your life? Why would you open up? Why won't you open up? Just trivial things like that have a profound impact on a person's life and future, and where they find themselves, and can actually not just cope with life, but to actually have a bit more than just hypothetical wishful thinking, and the true knowledge of what they are dealing with. The reason I am talking about this is there's a lot of religion in church. There's a lot of theory in church. There's a lot of theory and religion outside of church. Even people that say they're not religious are in reality religious. Their religion is just that they are anti a god or anti some religious establishment, but they are still living out an ideology. And if you're living out an ideology, you are living out your religion. And people can debate it as much as they want to. The fact is, just as you have something like Catholicism or Christianity or Islam, you have communism, you have secularism, you have humanism, whatever. You have tons of isms, and every ism is an ideology that people live out. Now, I'm not really too concerned about any of the ideologies out there in this conversation. The main question is really the knock-knock question. So, knock-knock. Who's there? Jesus. What now? Oh, I don't hear him. Tough luck. I don't know who's knocking on my door. I don't care. Get lost. What is that? That's a lost person. Lost to the world, in the world, love the world. Let them go their way. Second person, Jesus knocking on the door. It's like, who's there? Jesus. It's like, oh, Jesus, I don't want anything to do with you. Get lost. Person that deliberately decide they want to be in the world and reject Christ. Third person knocks on the door. It's like, wow, God is knocking on my heart. Should I open up? Jesus is like, yeah man, I know your life is a mess. Just open up. Let me in. Let me help you. Let me come into your life and bring some order and stability where there's chaos. Now, at this point, obviously, once again, there's two options. You can either look at yourself and say, well, it's all nice that you want to come into my life, God, but in reality, my life is totally corrupt. I'm bankrupt in myself. I have nothing to offer you. Let me first sort my life out. Let me get better. Let me get rid of some habitual sins I have. Let me get rid of maybe substance abuse. Let me get rid of maybe I'm in some kind of scams and I'm lying and deceiving people and taking people for a ride, and let me just clean up my act a bit, and then if you're still around in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, then I'll open up my door and you can come in and you can pat me on the back and say you're a really nice guy. Unfortunately, people have this misguided perception that Jesus is a lapdog, just lying in front of the door of their heart and just waiting for them to open up whenever they want to on their terms. In reality, Jesus is a sovereign God. Authority above all. He makes a choice. When he died on the cross for our sins and rose up, conquering death, he basically owns the options on everybody's life. He isn't a lapdog or sitting around. Now, fair enough, Christians might act that way in, I'm assuming, ignorance, but Jesus isn't going to. And for all you know, if you decide tomorrow you want to open up your heart, he might not be there. And he might have just moved on. And you say, how can I say that? Here's a question. When Jesus was walking the earth, did he spend his time around people that didn't want to hear? Did he spend his time around people that were self-righteous? Did he spend his time around people that just want to debate and reason, but in reality, when the rubber hits the road, they just want to stick where they are? No. He went and he preached the good news. He saved people. He healed people. He restored people. And wherever he went, those that wanted to hear the good news, those that wanted to listen, those that wanted change in their lives and wanted to be renewed, he was open for them. But if you didn't want, it was tough luck. And you say that's really harsh, but that is reality. For instance, look at the young rich man coming to Jesus saying, from my youth, I followed the 10 commandments, what else can I do? And Jesus saying, sell all your stuff and follow me, and you will have a great treasure in heaven. And what happens? He turns around sad and walks away. What about the disciple that comes to Jesus and say, Jesus says, come and follow me. And he's like, yeah, I really want to follow you. Let me just quickly go and sort out my dad's estate. He just passed away, and we have to sort out who's getting what. And Jesus like, let the dead bury the dead. Not in a sense that, he's really harsh and saying, stuff your dad. That's not what it's about. It's about priorities. And a sovereign God, just like a sovereign king, expect priorities to be aligned to the fact that you understand he is above all. So that's a bit of a food for thought. If you're fortunate enough, Jesus might knock on your heart a second time or a third time or a fourth time, and hopefully, if he does, you open up your heart. But that is the other kind of person. And unfortunately, most of the time they miss the boat and then they have to face reality on the other side of life. Having lived life in themselves, in their own corruption, not knowing Christ. Now we come to the last person. The person that, when they hear Jesus knocking on the door, saying, oh wow, God, my life is a mess. And Jesus is like, yeah, I know your life is a mess. Open up, let me come in, let me help you. The person opens up his heart. What now? Now the first thing to understand is God doesn't deal in godlessness. So God won't just walk into your heart and it's all dark and it's all full of messed up stuff. So the first thing that will happen is he'll basically call in the cleaners, as I say. So what he'll do is he'll tell you to go take a shower, here's some soap, with all the essence of my holy blood washing you clean, cleansing you. Go take a wash, get clean. And then when that happens, he'll walk into your heart while you're being cleansed, Okay, he'll clean the room of your heart. He'll burn all the filth away. Fix the cracks in the walls, fix the cracks in the windows, fix the furniture, provide all the necessary resources to actually create a feast for you to have fellowship and to enjoy the time together. As a king, he expects a certain kind of order where he goes in. And he understands that you're bankrupt. So don't worry about that. But then that person finds salvation. And that is, in reality, when that happens to a person, then they've actually found Christ. And they have a meaningful relationship with Him. And at that point, a person can really say, yes, they're born again. So that is really the essence of what I wanted to talk about right now. So for anybody that's thinking about Christianity or wondering where they are in Christianity, here's a bit of a test for you to evaluate yourself. So who are you? If you are just Christian in the fact that the city is a Christian city or a Christian country, but in reality you're just as godless as anybody out there, then the question is, do you even hear when he knocks on your door? Potentially not. There's tons of people out there. I mean, I used to be like that as well. Second kind of person, hears God knocking but loves the world. You know, I've got status, I've got friends, I've got a cool life, I've got things I want to achieve. You know, God, and unfortunately, righteousness and being fair and being holy and not living in a corrupt way is just not the way to go for me, sorry. So, not today. Maybe tomorrow, you know. I would like to keep the option open if I can. Tough luck. As I said, Jesus is a sovereign God. You come to Him on His terms. He doesn't come to you on your terms. But for the person that actually found salvation, at that point, you will definitely know when you found it. It's a fundamental change in your life. Things that you used to do naturally that was wrong, it's like you maybe even want to do it but you can't. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, everything just goes away. That's not how it is. But certain things you will find fundamentally is changed in your life, and things that you used to enjoy that's evil or godless or take pleasure in, you would despise. You might be struggling with some stuff, but you would have a different heart, and you have a different joy, and you would have hope. And I would say if you read the Bible before probably the Bible didn't mean a lot. You keep on reading it, but it doesn't make sense. It's all messy. It's just theory. Seems like you're just reading like 2 or 3 verses basically just to ease your mind. But after this happens and you read the Bible, it will actually speak back to you and it will teach you. And that is really one of the big signs that you would have found salvation. So, on getting order in your life, when it comes into your life, and actually loving the Word of God and loving Christ, that is the essence of what it means to be born again. Now, people will say, what about charity, or what about loving the world, or all that stuff is secondary. If you do not have Christ, all that stuff doesn't matter. So, it all starts right there. At that point, God willing, you'll bear good fruit, and bearing good fruit, you can create good works through the good fruit. But it all starts with the knock-knock test. So, God willing, I'm hoping everybody that listens to this takes the knock-knock test to heart, and if you haven't done so before, think about it a bit. Maybe you think what I'm saying is nonsense, it's junk. Fair enough, you can go your way. But if I'm right, which personal experience I know I am, try it out. You don't have to be all fancy religious. You don't need people to pray for you. You don't need to do all kinds of weird stuff. You don't have to sort out your life. Just call out to Christ to save you. Grab you by your hair out of the dark pit you find yourself in and put you on a new road onto life. Life in abundance, clean heart, clean life, looking to the future, loving righteousness, hating evil. So, God bless. I really hope this helps someone.